enough to keep me on. Then I woke up with my green eyes blue.
Okay, hi guys.
And all I think about is you.
Yeah, well, I think we can start now. Sorry that I've been a bit late, but I had to solve some family stuff, etc. And okay, well then. Actually, let's speak with Wolfenwood.
Come, you must have gathered by now that Tataru is given to exaggeration. As you can see, I am quite well. Ul'dah, on the other hand, is not. This riot was anything but an isolated incident. There is a restlessness in the air. Tensions long simmering are at last threatening to boil over. Ul'dah is a nation infamous for the great disparity between the wealthy and the poor. The majority of the populace accepts this state of affairs because they believe that every man bears responsibility for his own lot in life. To an Ul'dan, money is the foremost, and some would say the only measure of a man's worth. Small wonder that the wealthiest wield the greatest influence. So where do the refugees fit into this social hierarchy? What place is there for those who fled Alamigo and the destruction of the Calamity? Plainly, there is none. They have no wealth, no power, and no worth. To the Ul'dan way of thinking, they may as well not exist. Choosing to ignore their existence, however, is patently not an option. General Rauban and the Sultana understand this, which is why they ordered the Immortal Flames to provide the refugees aid and succor. Yet none would dispute that the expenses incurred by this policy grow by the day, with no end in sight. This has prompted more and more Ul'dans to question their obligation to aid these worthless wanderers, while more and more refugees have come to resent their treatment at the hands of the sneering citizenry. The manner of Lord Lolorito's refusal to grant the Dolmens asylum bespoke a disdain for all refugees, an attitude shared by the rest of the monetarists. And you may be sure they make no effort to conceal their opinions. It was only a matter of time before the refugees united in protest. Nor is it any surprise that some among them would ultimately resort to violence. That the Immortal Flames should choose this of all occasions to engage in joint training exercises with the other Grand Companies. By the time they return, the situation may well have deteriorated beyond mending.
As I told you before, it was all but inevitable that an incident of this kind would eventually occur given the rising tensions within the Sultanate. Nevertheless, I have reason to believe that this particular rite may not have begun spontaneously. Have I piqued your curiosity? Good. Then you will accompany me to the Hall of Flames. I would hear what General Robin has to say upon the matter. Zidli Shalom, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? I don't actually do not know what Mayor Haber means, but well, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing good. Unhearable. I hope so. Why is my timer still running? Countdown. And thanks for the follow, Shuplo. Oh, I really appreciate it. So, okay, then. Way of the samurai. To do request where. Where is my, where's the next easy ride? There's nothing to report to the... Chamber of the Sultana, to the Chamber of Rome. the plague. So, okay. Doesn't really matter where I go along. It's the same distance, cause he's right. Exact the opposite side. Oh, I did. I'm all one here. I just have to go to the hall of the flame. Reading helps a lot. These are my No, this is not a good time, Corporal Rail. My hands are full dealing with the refugees. Precisely the matter we wish to discuss, General. Off and out, back on your feet already. To make credit my swift recovery to your cherubins. My memories of the riot are still somewhat muddled. I trust you managed to regain control of the situation. That reminds me, I still forgot to send some link out that I'm live. Links. Okay. Whatever. Okay, now we go on. Not entirely, we secured the city soon enough, but not before the unrest had spread to the surrounding territories. Pockets of resistance remain throughout Thanalan. We have sent what forces we can spare to root out the last of the belligerents, but progress is slow. They are damnably elusive. I can well imagine, given that the majority of refugees live outside the walls, it stands to reason that they would know the lay of the land. What I do not understand is how they came to be so well prepared. Before my little accident, I observed that no one can deny that tensions between the Uldan citizenry and refugee population have increased since the Domans were turned away. But would that motive our starving man to purchase arms in leisure of food? I think not. And what of those who have not even a single guild to spend, who could not survive without the aid provided by the immortal flames? Surely they would sooner sell a weapon than bring it to bear against their benefactors. Come to the point. Very well, my point, General, is that this powder keg of discontent was not set alight by chance. These events were deliberately set in motion, and now order must be restored. That's my first duty. Until it's done, any investigation can wait. I do not have time to discuss this. My scouts will be returning anon. The general is no fool. He keeps his own counsel, and with good cause. Were he to claim without the necessary proof that these riots were instigated by outside forces, the monetarists would accuse him for attempting to shirk responsibility. After all, he and the Sultana have been the most outspoken proponents of refugee aid. Regardless, they will face harsh criticism in the days ahead. Our allies maybe stumble upon the truth in time, but I have far more faith in your abilities, Micah. Therefore, I propose we conduct our own investigation, independent of the authorities. To that end, I would have you make inquiries in the settlements suspected of harboring belligerents. Commander Swift will know which they are. He may balk at request for such information, but if no doubt that you can persuade him with your silver tongue. I meanwhile shall seek answers in my own way, after which we can regroup and share our findings. Well then, shall we? Since when Micah has a silver tongue? Really doubt that. You look as though you have something to say, Corporal Weil, do you? What you ask is no simple favor. Were such information to fall into the wrong hands, the life of countless soldiers would be at risk. Even so, there's wisdom in your words. An able individual, even one with the ties of the flames, may be better suited to this task than a regiment. Very well. The brass plates have reported suspicious activity in the vicinity of Last Hope. It may be unrelated to recent events, but we doubt it. I suggest you begin by speaking to the blades posted there. What brings you here, adventurer? A search for refugees? Well then, you've come to the right place. Ah, you mean those refugees? Oh no, you won't find them here. Most of the people of Lost Hope have come to accept the situation and are content to pass their days in peace and quiet. Outsiders have trouble understanding that, like that merchant who passed through recently. Gregarious fellow, but awfully opinionated. Can't say I was sad to see him go. Timothy Anderson, welcome to the stream. How you doing? friend of the Sultanate, Ari. I take it this means someone has read my report. The refugees who left with the merchant have yet to return, and I am increasingly concerned that Sazaraka's suspicions were correct. You haven't the foggiest what I'm talking about, do you? Never mind, speak with Sazaraka, he will explain everything. So where's the worker? He is up here. Ah, don't hurt me, I'm not one of them. Wait, I know your face. Are you not the man from the church of Saint Adama, Ladama? 1,000 pardons, my friend. I mistook you for one of the thugs who have been tormenting us. If Leofric bid you speak with me, then I take you've agreed to help. 12 be praised for that. Because we haven't a moment to waste, everyone knows the flames are on the march. The others have fallen under the fanatic spell, but not I. Promise of revolution and retribution, of holding the ruling class to account and taking that which is owed. Ha! A childish fantasy. I did everything I could to dissuade the others from leaving, but we would heed my words. Now that one of our idolists has returned, however, the madness of the merchant's plan is plain for all to see. Look behind yonder tent and you will understand why. Even now, he babbles incoherently, so dramatized is he by the bloodshed he witnessed. Try as I might, I can make little sense of his words beyond the fact that he was not alone in surviving. Yet I've no doubt that merchant will lead the remainder to their doom. I beg of you, find them before he does. So where is the guy in there? What are you doing? Don't draw, don't draw. Why didn't you run away with me? We could have escaped together. Then you'd be here with me, be here to soothe me. Why did you have to stay and leave me alone? So we have to soothe them. Who are you? What do you want? It's true, I fought the merchant, and may the gods strike me down for my folly. What they will not give you... sorry, I just clicked that to forest. But when the flames found us, we didn't know what to do. Our leader tried to parley with theirs, but then they started arguing, and then fighting, and then everyone was fighting, and the flames were shouting to give no quarter, and... oh god, the other group, they're still out there. If we don't stop them, they'll be massacred like mine was. To each refugees are hiding in the caves south of Lost Hope, but your approach them would be fruitless. They would sooner call us agents of the Sultanate and try to kill us than listen to reason, while the twins might even deign to do the deed themselves. A pox on all bloody sellswords. They were supposed to train us to fight, but the ones he sent with us vanished during the struggle. Oh, if only we had never listened to that merchant's ridiculous claims. He said our cause was righteous, and that the gods would never suffer us to be defeated. So, if they were forced to confront reality, that's it. Challenge the twins to combat and show my brethren that their strongest warriors are no match for one man. Mayhap then they will agree to lay down their arms and renounce this blood. Seven else, they found us. Everyone grab your gear and make for the rendezvous point. So that's your game, is it? Hahaha. Sorry to disappoint you, lad, but we're more than willing to kill you ourselves. You beat him like it was nothing. Tell Almighty, what are we gonna do now? You've returned. Did you find my brethren? What of the twins? What happened? I see. Well, you had no choice. Better that handful of them taking a beating from you than not get butchered by the flames. Tell me, what did the merchant have to say when it was over? Huh? But where else would he be unless he went to Stone's Throw to recruit others? As I recall, he wished to approach the refugees there as well. but was raiding until the flames withdrew their forces from the vicinity, and now that they have, there's nothing to stop him from continuous work. How many more must perish in pursuit of this futile cause? How much more suffering must we endure before it ends? Find him, convince him to cease his mad quest. It will surely lead us to ruin. Have you seen my parents? They told me to stay here with the others. Sniffle, they said they're back soon. It's been days. They left with a man from Ulda. The man said they were gonna change everything, make it so we could live inside the walls with everyone else. I liked it when he said that. I didn't like it when he talked about making the rich people pay. Everyone looked so angry and I got scared. Lots of people left with the man after that, but no one's come back. Welcome back, Corporal Rail. If you learned out of interest, you persuaded a gang of refugees to lay down their arms. The named general will be pleased to learn of this. So these are the revelations. We must apprehend this treasonous naked ones. This merchant has not only publicly incited the sedition within the Sultanate, but gone so far as to provide material support to would-be belligerents. It galls me that his role in the uprising should have escaped our notice for so long. Yet I can well imagine why it did rightly or wrongly. Those with whom we consort do not trust us. Alas, trust is not easily gained even in times of peace. We must nevertheless try. For I believe it's only with the cooperation of the refugees that we will catch our carry. So I would have you to continue your investigation in Pearl Lane. We know that the merchant sought to recruit the people of Lost Hope and Stone's Throw, so it seemed reasonable to assume that he may have approached the residents of Pearl Lane as well. After all, the first riots occurred within the city itself. Most, if not all, refused to discuss the subject with you. There's one who may be willing to do so, a man named Landebird. He too has his misgivings about us, but I believe he understands that these riots do little to further his people's cause. First comes a man with a promise of deliverance, seen your suffering firsthand and will bear it no longer, says he. Your friend, your ally, your comrade in arms, take his hand and he will guide you to a better tomorrow. Then comes a soldier with a promise of justice, follow the man who came before at your peril, says he, for they who sow the wind shall reap the whirlwind. The man's no saint, any fool can see that, we are but tools for his task, to be used and discarded. As for this soldier, he thinks only his mission. He's more honest than the man, but every bit is ruthless, make no mistake. With whom shall I cast my lot? Neither, says I. Far as I'm concerned, you're no better than the bastard you pursue. Now the soldier think how else he might get what he wants. He tried the diplomatic approach and failed. Mayhap a firmer hand is needed. Mayhap he needs to make an example out of this Alamegan scum, like he did those 5 fools from Lost Hope. Well, you'll get no justification from me, soldier. If that's what you're waiting for, I'll not raise a hand against you. But neither will I lend a hand to help you. Not that it makes any difference. Pah, the god seems bent on granting your every bloody wish. Mistrustful merchant. There you are, Landbird. Have you given any thought to my proposal? You? There he goes toward the gate of Tall, and go and claim your prize for coin and country. Yeah, we're just nodding. I mean, this was definitely meant sarcastic or ironically from that dude. Hey Solace, how you doing? How was your day? Wie geht's? Wie war dein Tag? Oder ist dein Tag? Ja, das ist ja... Das ist ja das 7. Weeks of road. Okay, maybe I just have to put the gain a bit higher. Okay, what's now? That's better. I think so. I'm not sure if you heard me before. But how are you doing, Solace? Welcome to the stream. Okay. Ah ja, die Bahn, das kenne ich auch noch. You again, why are you pursuing me? Sedition, treason, revolution, that's preposterous. Who has filled your head with these lies? Refugees, the self-same refugees who terrorize the streets of Ulda. Ha. I have no evidence to prove your accusations, none. No, I will not accompany you to the Hall of Flames. You have no right to detain me. For the sake of argument, let us say I did do these things you claim. Surely you don't think I give a current's ass about politics. It was business, only business. We both know I'm not the one you want. However, if you agree to protect me, I swear I shall tell you everything. I doubt that. Of course, there we have our sniper. More or less. If you can snipe with a bow. What's all this commotions? 7 hells. Tell the others to spread out and search the area. The killer may still be close. Hold, adventurer. I would know more about your relationship with the victim, as well as the events leading up to his death. This man was responsible for the recent riots. Mayhap we owe his murder a debt of gratitude. This man was responsible for... okay. In any case, it's obvious you are not the one whom we seek. You may carry on with your investigation, sire. So... Yep. Ja, hier regnet's. Hier hat's auch schon geregnet und gestürmt. Aber ich bin ja froh, dass es wieder etwas kühler wird. Yep, ich auch. So, warte da. Steps of art. What news, Corporal Rail? Where's the merchant? Murdered, damn it all, to the seventh cell. He was not simply murdered, Corporal, he was silenced. Too many knew his face, and he was ready to divulge his secrets. Do not despair, so we may be closer to identifying the true orchestrator of these riots than you realize. The Flame General left word that you were to proceed to the fragrant chamber as soon as you returned. You wish to discuss your recent discoveries as well as the results of our own investigation. Master Orphanot has already been informed and should be waiting for you outside. Pray proceed to the royal promenade with all haste and speak with Bartholomew. Some difference. I'll go to that Easerite at the Sromatox Guild or to the Adventure. We reached the end of that quest line, I'm not so sure. But I remember this this end was quite a shocker. Quite a shocker back then. Because I really didn't suspected that, and it ended with a huge cliffhanger before Heaven's Ward. Yeah, let's see that one.
Commander Swift has kept us apprised of your recent activities. You've made great strides towards quelling the violence.
Despite our best efforts to determine what provoked this uprising, the truth continues to elude us. Have you uncovered aught which might shed some light on the mystery?
This information does not leave this room. The Syndicate's decision to reject the Doman refugees' appeal for asylum had lasting repercussions. A number of those displaced by the calamity claimed it was proof of a policy of discrimination. Together with a group of Alamegan refugees, they organized a series of demonstrations to protest against the Sultanate. Demonstrations which became heated, but did not descend into violence. Until a certain incident served as a call to arms.
A unit of brass blades sent to supervise a demonstration loosed arrows upon unarmed protesters. It was this atrocity which prompted the refugees to take up arms. I need not tell you what followed.
We assumed at first that the attack was born of a miscommunication. When emotions run high, they happen. But suspicions were raised regarding the unit's commanding officer, whom I ordered interrogated. Sure enough, our fears were soon confirmed. The dog confessed that a merchant had offered him coin to give the order. A merchant in the employ of Teleji Adeleji.
Teleji Adeleji. But he spoke in favor of the Doman's cause, and has ever seemed sympathetic towards the refugees' plight. Why would he do such a thing?
Know you of the Cartano Reclamation Bill? It is a proposal to annex the Cartano Flats so that refugees may establish permanent settlements.
When last I looked, that was disputed territory.
Aye. Some might even call it a battlefield. The destruction wrought by Bahamut was greatest at the Cartano Flats. That much is common knowledge. What is less well known is that his rampage laid bare ancient Alagon ruins, of which no record existed. There are certain differences of opinion as to how these ruins should be handled, which is why each nation maintains a military presence in the region to this day. Yet differ though we may, we are still allies. Therefore, in the interest of preserving the Eorzean alliance, we have reached an agreement. Any conflict which may arise during the course of military exercises in the region shall have no bearing on relations between our nations. In full knowledge of this delicate state of affairs, Teleji Adeleji proposed the Cartano Reclamation Bill. A shameless bloody ruse which stands to benefit him in but one conceivable way. If successful, he will gain control over the disputed territory under the guise of assisting in the resettlement effort. And you can be sure he'll build an orphanage next to every Alagon ruin.
The man would threaten the unity of the Eorzean alliance and risk countless lives for personal gain.
He walks a path all his own, independent of any faction and beholden to none of his fellows on the Syndicate.
By inciting the less fortunate to violence, he hopes to convince others that the Cartano Reclamation Bill is the only viable solution. His sympathy for the plight of the Domans was not but posturing to gain credibility with the refugees. Of that there can be no doubt.
Forgive me, but what could possibly motivate Teleji Adeleji to go to such lengths? What is so special about these ruins that he would risk his position on the Syndicate, and, most likely, charges of treason against the Sultanate?
Omega.
Pardon?
An Alagon monstrosity, not unlike the Ultima weapon. Mayhap larger, we know not. It has yet to be fully excavated. Alagon inscriptions indicate that it was created to fell Bahamut himself. If accurate, It might explain why Nail Van Darnus chose to bring the Red Moon down upon the Cotonou Flats, given the ends he went to ensure Eorzea's annihilation. Destroying the one weapon which could stay the Elder Primal may well have seemed like good sense.
When first I bore witness to the power of the Ultima weapon, I doubted the evidence of my senses. And now you tell me there is another such weapon. One which could contend with Bahamut.
Aye, we were skeptical ourselves. Truth be told, until the Ultima weapon's existence came to light, we thought the inscription had been mistranslated.
At present, Omega is more akin to a fossil than a tool of war, having long since ceased to function. As such, its true potential cannot accurately be gauged. However, if someone were to restore it, as the Garleans did the Ultima weapon, I have little doubt that he would wield untold power.
Power enough to subjugate Uldar like as not, and the rest of Eorzea besides, which is doubtless why Teleji Adeleji yearns to have it.
That he should aspire to world domination. He who has ever walked 2 paces behind Lord Lolorito in matters of commerce.
'Tis in acknowledgement of his own.
Pray waste no time chasing rats. Only a fool would believe that secrets can be kept in Uldar.
It would seem the implications of the Sultanate's refugee problem are rather more far-reaching than we assumed.
I should be glad to know the truth, and yet the thought that all this chaos was a product of one man's lust for power sickens me. How long do you think they intended to hide the existence of Omega from the science? That they even felt the need to do so, it's most troubling. It would be in our best interest to learn more of the military activities in the disputed territories. Fortunately, you are already well positioned to do so, Corporal Rail. Pray keep us informed of any developments in Cotonou. Begone, whelp. This is no place for children. I'm so sorry. I was looking for you, Mr. People said you were looking for the man who left with my parents. You know this girl? So, he visited Stone's Throw as well, I see. Did you find the man? Were my parents with him? They were not, I'm afraid. However, I can think of several places they might be. If you like, we can go and look for them together. Really? You'll help me look, mister? Of course, but first I must needs finish speaking with my friend. He's telling me a secret, you see, so no one else is allowed to listen. Mayhap you could wait for me by that pillar over there. We require but a moment. Okay, mister, I'll be waiting. I take her to the quicksand. Mayhap Momodi will know what to do. A legion of Garleans and the ether-starved primal, even dealing with an Asian would be preferable to this charade. Sometimes I fear Minfilia is too ambitious. We rush hither and yon in response to threats as they arise, without concern for the strain it places on our limited resources and ourselves. Mayhap the time has come for a change. Micah, this is Monfilia. I know this is sudden, but I must ask you to return to Revenant's Toll with all due haste. The situation on Twelfthwood has taken a turn for the worse. I will explain in detail once you arrive. The Twelfthwood, then the primal threat as she spoke of before has been confirmed. I have received no reports of Ixiali activity which leaves the Sylphs. Go, Micah. You know as well as it that the appearance of a primal takes precedence over all else. Oh, and when you arrive, to inform the descendants that while I'm grateful for her concern, she needn't fear for my safety. I'm more than capable of protecting myself. Read, I'm confused. I thought Ramu would come later, but the only primal besides Odin which is actually not really a primal, cause I don't think he would be summoned, but okay, well, let's head back to Revenant's Toll and we'll see what's in store for us next. Tony Walker, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? It's a relief to see you healthy and hale, Micah. The latest news from Ulda was most disturbing. Clearly, the only injury Orphanot suffered was to his ego. Doubtless, it will heal Erlan. The other signs will need to be present for this meeting. If you are ready to begin, I will summon them now. Thank you for responding to my call with such haste. Rest assured, I should not have summoned you were it not urgent. To business then. I have received some disturbing news from the Order of the Twin Adder. They have reason to believe that the Souls may have called forth their revered guardian, the Primal Ramu. I'm sorry, may have, then it's not certain. The Elder Seedseer informs us that the elementals themselves murmur of the Lord's Levin's return for the forest. The Sylphlands, however, display no sign of undue commotion. Forgive me, Antecedent, but that fact need not contradict the... Ja, da hast du recht. Ich glaube, es hat ja bis zum ersten Add-on fast 2,5 Jahre gedauert, oder? 1,5 zum, ja. Also auf jeden Fall länger als jetzt zwischen Heavensward und Stormblood. Von daher ist da natürlich viel Content dazwischen. Forgive me, Antecedent, but that fact need not to contradict the elemental's testimony, unlike his more bellicose compeers Garuda and so on. Ramu is reputed to act only in the defense of his children. I imagine he would soon make his presence now, if anywhere foolish enough to directly endanger the sylphs of their territory. The abruptness of this development concerns me. We were not keeping a close watch on the touched ones and their movements. Ja, stimmt. Only 22 months. Not only. Ja, nee. 22 Monate. Ja, das stimmt schon mit. Aber ich finde halt. Ja, aber ich meine, es lohnt sich trotzdem. Also es gibt, glaube ich, kaum ein MMO, wo was so viel Wendung auch in seiner Story drin hat. Mir würde jetzt zumindest so aktuell keins einfallen. The abruptness of his development concerns me. We were not keeping a close watch on the touched ones and their movements. If preparations... I was clicking too fast again. Oh, I didn't. I was pretty sure it was going to happen, just not this soon. Ja, das stimmt natürlich, aber... Ja, aber zumindestens, also ich meine, ich habe es ja jetzt länger nicht mehr gespielt, so die letzten Releases, ich meine zumindestens so das Hauptspiel und so, also es hält sich dann doch sehr eng an die MMO-Konventionen, also wenn man von ein paar Klassen wie Kopfgeldjäger und so absieht, und das schlägt sich dann halt auch in der Inszenierung irgendwo wieder. Ja, da bin ich ja leider noch nicht. Aber ich arbeite dran. Lovelace, welcome to the stream. How you doing? And Ali, welcome. How you doing, guys? I beg your pardon. You foresaw this eventually and did naught to prevent it. I told Papalimo I suppose I could have reported things to Minfilia earlier, but there honestly wasn't much we could do except wait and see. You know how the Sylphs feel about people poking around in their territory? They already summoned Ramu once right after the calamity, but that was because the Gallians came tramping through the forest. And so long as Castrum Orient stands, and the Sylphs cannot be blamed for wishing to have their guardian deity on hand. In short, Yida and I are in agreement. The actions of the forest folk were inevitable and unavoidable. And I maintain the observation would have remained the best policy had it not been for the sudden influx of strangers into the Black Shroud that, alas, we did not foresee. By all accounts, the recent violence in Ulda drove a number of refugees to seek safety under the concealing canopy of the trees. It is like that the sylphs perceived this panicked migration as yet another invasion and quickened their efforts to summon their god. I am put in mind of Titan and the kobolds once again. It is the affairs of men which have paved the way for Primal's coming. Indeed, one cannot help but wonder what manner of place Eorzea would be without the civilizing influence of mankind. Be that as it may, this regrettable development does afford us a unique opportunity. Micah, through your dealings with the sylphs of Little Solace, you once succeeded in preventing an unitimely conflict with Gridania. I wonder, might one who has treated with the sylphs so fruitfully in the past not achieve similar success with their patron deity? If Ramu can be convinced of our intentions, it may be the first step to breaking the cycle of primal summoning. A fond hope, were such a thing possible, we would not have been at war with the beastmen since the time memorial. Sorry, I just next week, next Friday, I get my new classes, and then think I do less stuttering while reading. But maybe this time we can. Let us continue this discussion anon. We must needs first consult with the nation most affected by Ramu's presence. The elder Seatseers requested your personal involvement. Micah, pray report to Commander Holowa at the Adder's Nest as soon as you are able. Steel yourself for the worst, while I hope a peaceful resolution to this matter. Experience suggests that your meeting with the Lord of Levin will prove less than admissible. In such an event, your fellow Science will, of course, lend you whatever support you require. Teleport to Asterix, Exterix, okay, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Lord of speak. Who's a guy from the Tron Adventures? Here. Micro's the science your rival has been most anticipated. The appearance of Primal is ever cause for alarm and unease. So, my man, stand ready for any eventuality. I know none more qualified than you to snuff out this threat. Indeed, I would have you do so without delay. The elder Seetsier, however, would speak with you first. She is of the opinion that your diplomatic rather than martial skills may better serve our cause. I will leave further explanation to our learned leader. Pray make a raid to Navica's altar. The conjurer in attendance will admit you to the Lotus Stand. That's a quest from Marvel X. So, let's see. Okay. Cricket that way. The other signs have already arrived, sir. May I show you in?
Scions of the Seventh Dawn, on behalf of the people of Gridania, I bid you welcome. Your presence is of great comfort to us all in these days of uncertainty. I summoned you here to share tidings of a most urgent nature. But a short while ago, the great elemental spoke, and his voice was clarion in its intensity. Ramu is returned unto the forest.
So that's actually Ramu.
Scarce had his words ceased to echo in mine ears when we were visited by an emissary from Little Solace. Our guest informs us that the Sylphs too have sensed the presence of the Lord of Levin. Though his exact whereabouts remain unknown, we may safely assume that the Primal was summoned within the heart of the Sylphlands. Unlike the other Primals you have encountered, Lord Ramu is no raging avatar of destruction. He is revered as much for his wisdom as his strength, serving as both arbiter and guardian to his children. Given that we and the Sylphs found a way to share the Twelves Wood, it is my hope that this sagely immortal will be amenable to reason, and that conflict may be avoided. Blessed as you are with the power of the Echo, you are one of the few among us who may commune with a primal without fear of influence. I would ask, therefore, that you represent us in this most delicate of negotiations. The Twelveswood has suffered enough. Upon this, we and the Sylphs, and I would venture Lord Ramu himself, are in perfect accord. Let us not endanger our shared home by engaging in unnecessary hostilities. Dear friend, I beseech you, safeguard the peace which exists between our peoples. You have my thanks. Pray make for little solace, then. A member of the Order of the Twin Adder awaits you there. He will advise you on how to find the Lord of Levin. An ill wind blows through the forest. Yet, it is not only the Twelveswood that flinches at its coming. All the lands Veorzia shiver in dread anticipation. Have care.
So, teleport to... Micro of the Saints, I was told to expect you. I understand you got to treat with the primal Ramu himself, an uneven viable task, and on one that shall be made all the more difficult by the interference of the touched selves. With the aid of the science and the inhabitants of Little Soleil, the Order of the Twin Adder will enter Sylphland and do what can be done to clear your path. I shall brief you on the impending operation once you're satisfied with your preparations. Serpent Lieutenant is... Ready, are you? Then allow me to explain the finer details of this foray into the Sylphlands. In order that you might treat with the Lord of Levin, we must first learn where the primals is to be found. So we are certain Amu was somewhere within the territory of the touched sylphs, as his precise whereabouts yet elude us, and aimlessly trashing around in the undergrowth will only lead to unnecessary conflict. We are fortunate then to have the expertise of the Science of the Seventh Storm at our disposal. Mistress Ida and her companions will make us of their Charlian devices to measure recent etheric activities. They assure me that the disturbance caused by the summoning of a primal shall prove a most obvious beacon. But we must not to get ahead of ourselves. Our first objective will be to join up with your fellow Science, time being of the essence. They have already entered the Sylphlands. Fear not, however, they have a Twin Adder escort and a Sylph guide for come. Help! This one needs help! The guide, what has become of our companions? These ones were ambushed at the border of Touched One's territory. Touched Ones tossed a stinging scale bomb, and arrow-shooting ones were left, coughing and crying. What of the science? Arrow-shooting ones were in the lead and took the worst of stinging. Other walking ones scattered this way and led to escape the same fate. Barely 2 steps into the Sylphland and we've already lost our charges, but it will profit us little to go running after them until we know exactly what we're facing. Let us first tend to the scouts and assess the situation. This one was cleansing water for walking ones. Splash it over arrow shooting ones and rinse away the stinging scales from eyes and nose and mouth. My thanks, I will leave this task in Micah's capable hands. It is hardly auspicious beginning, but I must ask that you adhere to the plan. Rendezvous with your fellow Science. If you can get the scouts back on their feet, they may be able to point you towards your companions. Oh, and be on your guard. If this operation is to succeed, we can ill afford any further mishaps. Coughing and crying ones are not far. This one will show walking on the way. Oh, that's so much better. Praise Norfolk, I thought to claw my own eyes from my skull. Does that bastard Sylph yet linger? I can still barely see. Timmy, welcome. And welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Thank Reese, thank you yourself. Through some manner of powder. Another rocking one. Ha, this one shall not falter. This one carries an entire sack of this one sack of scale bombs. It is gone. No matter, this one will fetch more, and then new walking one will suffer as well. Hey, this one stole Touched One's sack while Touched One was gloating over coughing ones. But this one's clever trick will mean naught if Touched One fetches more scale bombs. Working one must act fast. This one will use another clever trick to help Working Ones move unseen. Working One must sneak up on Touched One before this one's trick wears off. Take the scale bomb and give Touched Ones a taste of Touched One's own medicine. It's Walking One ready. This one is eager to make mischief for Touched One. Transparency. still walking on will soon be there, but not yet, just like the wind. My Maximum Magic spell will render you invisible, finds a touched oneself in surprise, and with a stinging scale 1 before the enchantment fades. The invisible spell will last for 35 seconds. If you run out of time before achieving objective, return to Maxia and ask him to refresh the enchantment. While the invisibility spells, in fact, you can extend its duration by touching the sweet-smelling wildflower found along the way. Okay, can I write? No, I can't write triple. White. Okay. Oh, this one leaves smart and prickle, but this one was being so careful. This is Gales. Oh, Ruby, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Did walking one give touched one a stinging surprise? Touched one will not bother these ones for a time. These ones sings. And coughing and crying ones seem much better. Perhaps arrow shooting ones are ready to talk with walking one now. I can finally see again. Your aid is most appreciated. You are a marker of the science, yes? Then you will doubtless be eager to know what became of your fellows. strengths. As you are aware, your party fell victim to an ambush. We scouts immediately moved forward to engage the enemy and bid the Scions to take cover. Then, before we knew that was happening, the air was filled with that stinging, choking dust. The last thing I saw before my vision clouded was Master Papalymo stumbling northeast towards the Golden Leaf days. I know what befell the others. The touched sylphs are certainly altered to our presence in their territory, and I urge you to locate your companions quickly. Maxima, our guide, will be of the greatest help to you in that endeavor. Meanwhile, my fellow scouts and I will seek to draw the attention of potential ambushes away from you. Their nasty tricks will not find us such easy prey a second time. Where am I? Okay. Direction. Pip and Hark, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Enough of this, my feet ache, my back hurts, and I wish to leave these sylphs in peace. Sarah, greetings. Why don't you let this fellow take your measure? This doesn't need to take measurements, I can tell you. The safety of Ramos nowhere here to be found. Is something bothering working when wise ones are not acting as wise ones should? This one is not sure how wise ones should behave, but this one suspects sneaky ones seek to deceive walking one with skin-changing tricks. Walking one must take these tricks, breaking scale bombs, and throw them as the skin-changing sneak ones. Also, this one does not suggest throwing anything unless walking one is sure wise ones are not truly wise ones. Best match against into this. Wise ones were sneaky ones in disguise after all. So this one led walking one into sneaky one's trap. Who gives this one? This one will search some more, and so must walking one. Does walking one still have trick breaking scale bombs? This one fears more sneaky ones may be lurking nearby. Continue searching for the signs. So, and where? Edmund friend, welcome to the stream, and Hussein, welcome. How are you doing, guys? Diana, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Michael, it's you. I was worried you wouldn't find us. Seeing as you have, so do you think you could give me a hand? Sancred's being a bit difficult. I keep telling him we should be taking readings, but he refuses to move. Woe is me, I cannot run. Far too dangerous. What if something were to happen to my beautiful face? Okay. That's probably it's Yida. Nope. Cough, what did you do that for? Sacred turned into a sylph? No, wait, you're telling me that was a sylph all along? Ugh, I can't believe I fell for that. I heard about the shape-shifting trick, but that slide was just convincing. I wonder where the real Thancred was disappeared to. Yes, eager to rejoin the other science. I may not know where Thancred is, but I've got a pretty good idea where Papalymo and Stola will be. They were with me just now. Stola suggested we split up to cover more ground and took Papalymo with her. Oh no, do you think one of them might have been a sylph in disguise as well? We should probably be after them just in case. Come on, they were headed somewhere to the south. Just a second, just want to look at something. Dicey X Kazier, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Thank the dwarves. Your father's at least great as he either, but whereas more impostors do not attempt to deceive me, so I see what you are. But if by some faint chance you truly are my good friend Micah, mayhap you would consult Maxio over there. If Maxio he truly is one subject of how to dispel these infernal sylvan enchantment. Um, This one suggests hitting 3 wise ones with 1 star. If wise one suspect walking one is actually skin changing one, walking one is not likely to get a second opportunity to throw skill wall in wise one's presence. So walking one must aim carefully so that all wise ones are caught in the same skill wall. Splitter, was that truly necessary? No, 'cause that one's a sylph. This one's trick was failed, but walking ones have not won yet. This one will not allow walking one to pass. Come any closer and this one's friend will be angry. So, the little rascal means to stand his ground, does he? How very courageous. Would you do the honors, Micah? Greetings, I see you all found each other. It would seem I was a mite overzealous in my attempts to raid our sylvan ambushes. I was well away by the time I realized I was alone. Is order missed? Do I have something on my face? Reasonably convincing, but one cannot be too careful. Remind me, Sacred, what was the reason for our little excursion into the Sylphlands? Did you take a tumble and bump your head, old friend? We're here to locate the site of summoning so that Micah might call Davis Lord Ramu. Too easy. Aha. Why don't you tell us what you think of Flamen? Truly, you would have me speak of the songstress of Ulda, as you will. She is an exquisite rose that withers not with the passing of years. Charming as ever, I dare say. You're perpetually best up on all sides by swooning beauties. Please, Ystula, I do not seek to make them swoon. Poetry rises unbidden to my lips when I behold a maiden's fair countenance. 'Tis the curse of my minstrel blood. Enough. If this is not the real Sacred, then I believe we have found a suitable replacement. Indeed. Well, that seems like quite enough entertainment for one day. This past time we return to the task at hand. Micah, would you mind approaching our touched friend? If I'm not very much mistaken, this decision to stand his ground stems from something more than mere bravery. Alan, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? provoking one is too strong. This one surrenders. This one is sorry for playing tricks on wise ones. But great and powerful one, Lord Ramu's not here, so there's no need for wise ones to go any further. No, no need at all. Wise ones definitely must not go any further. This one would not want wise ones to get lost. Yeah. We overheard your exchange with our torment. Where Jacqueline Baker, welcome to the stream. How you doing? We overheard your exchange with our tormentor. His clumsy attempt at decide would almost be endearing if time were not of the essence. Happily, I managed to take a reading of the surrounding area while you had his attention. As I suspected, of the side of the Lord of Eleven's summoning is very close indeed. My measurements indicate a large aerial disturbance to the southeast. My measurement, thanks to antiques of the sylphs, we've been dragged to every corner of the Sylphlands, but none of our various readings returned a result of this magnitude. There can be only one conclusion. A move was called false in the vicinity of the Sylph's Etherite. I suggest we proceed thither with all possible haste. After bidding Maxi here a fond farewell, of course, should our trusty guide come too close to his deity, there's a distinct possibility that he will fall under the primal influence. Come, Micah, the Lord of Leven awaits. Here we come.
Nora betrays thee, servant hiding. The bringer of light, bane of Ifrit, Titan, Garuda, and Leviathan. I am Ramu, guardian of the children of the forest. Thou tramplest upon sacred soil, bringer of light. By what right doth man intrude in this sanctuary of the sylphs? Gridanians proffer peace? Their words are born of delusion, thine offer an insult. Thou speakest of harmony,
yet carest naught for my children's desires. They did but wish to dwell beneath these boughs in solitude. Yet even that was too much to ask of man. Thus did they turn to me for succor. The sentence I pronounce upon thy kind is just. Redanian or Garlean, it matters not. The good intent of one excuseth not the misdeeds of the other. Thy conflicts have brought naught but anguish and misery unto the forest. All blame doth lie with the darkness that resideth in the breast of man. Whence sprung this calamitous seed? In the beginning no such duality existed, for light and dark given form when man was born. It would explain much, not least why strife and sorrow follow ever in thy wake. Thou canst not deny the urgings of thine own nature.
Maybe.
Knowing that thy mere presence here portendeth tragedy, wilt thou persist in this pretense of peacemaking? Thou bearest the crystal which I bestowed upon my wayward charges. But they should entrust so precious a gift to thee. Thou standest apart from thy kin. Thou art the bringer of light, aye. But there is something more in thee. Very well. I shall consider thy proposal. Shouldst thou survive my trial. If thou wouldst champion the cause of harmony, I must have proof that thou art fit to play the role. Wither mine ire, and prove to me thereby that thou hast strength enough to stay the darkness which threateneth to consume thee. Yet if thou shouldst be found wanting, know that all men shall perish in the storm of my judgment. Come to me, bringer of light. I shall await thee on the field of battle.
Urianger, it is rare indeed to find you so far from a tome.
The Lord of Levin himself. Never till this day had I looked upon his visage, save in painted renderings made faint by time. Ever shall this scene remain etched in my mind's eye. Beg pardon, my lady. I must beg thine aid on a point of research. If thou art resolved to face Lord Ramu, I would ask thy leave to observe the event.
get some. Remove for 14. Yeah, mode, which is the normal mode. One of the girls must really closely observe which is a battlefield in order to so that's so there's no special tactics for tanks in this. Treat Kimchi O. Thanks for the treat. I will appreciate it. And yeah, while I'm do a quick break, not longer than 10 minutes, and I'm back right away, and then we challenge remove. Okay, and where is my Spotify? Okay, I see you in a few minutes.
All your makeup, just take it off. I've got to find you before the line is lost. I know I hurt you, I won't deny it. When I reach for you, you say I'm over it, but I know you can cry, I won't go. You can scream, I won't go. Every man that you know would have run with the wood go. Little boys with the polo, oh I know they hurt you so.
Okay.
So little that we know that the cup it overflows. Little boys with the porno, but this is their world where
Okay. And so let's get back. Let's get into the
have taken thy measure, bringer of light. And I judge thee a worthy champion. The task of excising the sin that hath taken root in man's heart is thine. Shrink not from employing thy strength in service to the forest and the wider realm beyond. Like hungering shadows do the enemies of harmony gather, and meekness will but feed them. If man is to be delivered from the dark, it shall be by thy guiding light alone. Stray not from the path, for if thou dost, thy people shall be truly lost.
Thou hast slain the Lord of Levin. A regrettable act, but a necessary one. In witnessing thy struggle, a truth hath been revealed unto me. If I mistake not, it may yet prove a chink in the eternal armor of the Assyrians. But let us conclude our present business. I shall expound upon my findings at the Rising Stones anon.
Okay, so back to the symbols. Wait a sec. Teleport. Oh, come on. Teleport to us and taught us. Jerry McMaster, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Mike, I have returned. Dare ask how Ramu received your visit. challenged you to a test of arms. It is well then that you have some experience in such matters. The people of both Gridanians and Little Solus will be relieved to hear that the Lord of Leven has accepted you as a forest champions of peace. I've performed a monumental duty this day, Micah. The Elder Seedseer must be informed of your deeds at once. The Elder Seedseer will wish to hear of your experience firsthand. Pray return to Gridania and make directly for the Lotus Den. The Conjurer at Nafikar's altar will be expecting you. Farewell, Micah. Teleport to no. Welcome back, Huntsman. We who knew of your mission were most anxious to see you return. The Elder Seedseer waits within.
You are returned to us, dear friend, and none the worse for bearing the heavy burden which I did press upon you. Most glad am I of this. I am informed that your efforts to negotiate a peace with Lord Ramuh ended in conflict. Pray tell me, what befell? Ramuh made trial of you? I fear there is truth to his claim. It is the darkness within us that attracts the darkness without. It cannot be denied that misfortune follows man. For evidence, one need only look to the conflict brewing in Cartano, or to the rising flood of refugees. Our shared struggle against the Empire should have served to seal our union. Yet the ties which bind the Alliance strain under the weight of gross self-interest. As the scars of the calamity begin to fade, so too does our sense of common purpose. Yet now is scarce the time to forget our shared responsibility. If this new-sprung realm is to survive beyond its infancy, it must needs be nurtured by all. Eorzea must be as one, yet I fear that dream is still far off. On behalf of the people of Gridania and the elementals both, I thank you for all that you and your fellow scions have done. Full oft have I been compelled to look to you for aid of late, and offered all too little in return. As leader of this nation, I shall endeavor to prove a more worthy ally to your cause henceforth. Lord Ramuh has departed, Yet the keening of this ill wind grows no less insistent. Voices of the forest, pray speak and I shall listen. What unseen evil begets this unease in my heart?
This ends another daunting mission. Hey, Micah. I hope Lord Ramu could be persuaded with words alone, but nonetheless I can only admire the adoredness with which you responded to the primal sudden challenge. It seems that Urianger too was pleased with the outcome. What say you, Micah? Shall we gather back at the rising stones and ponder the lessons of the day? So let's return to Rodenstow. Attila Caressa, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Welcome back, Micah. Word of your momentous encounter with Lord Ramu precedes you. I would fain share news of mine own, but Urianger's discovery must take precedence. Upon witnessing your defeat of Lord of Levin, our learned companion was struck with a profound insight regarding the nature of the Ascians. Immortally let us assemble and discuss his observations together.
If everyone is ready, let us begin. Urianger, the floor is yours.
As all here assembled now know, in its final hours as our Order's headquarters, the waking sands did play host to a most unexpected visitor. I speak of the Ascian clad in white, Elidibus. Unwelcome though his presence was, his words that day did serve to confirm a truth long suspected, that the Ascians are eternal beings, to whom physical destruction is as a temporary inconvenience.
In the intervening time, Urianger and I have striven to discover a means by which the Ascians might more permanently be slain.
And 'tis my belief that we have found the thread that will allow us to unravel the twisted skein of their existence. In the moments prior to Leviathan's most recent manifestation, the Sahagin elder who summoned him was observed to undergo some manner of ascension. The etheric readings taken by Y'shtola at the time of this transfiguration have proven most enlightening.
The disruption to the flow of ether was sudden and dramatic. So tangible was the agitation, I scarce had need of my goggles.
The significance of Y'shtola's readings might better be understood in the context of mine own, taken at the instant of the Lord of Levin's demise. Unlike the Primal, the Sahagin was not subject to etheric dissipation.
Before discussing our new discoveries, it may benefit us all to recall what we know of etheric behavior. Let us begin at what some might call the end. When we who dwell in the material realm die, our spirits dissolve into the flow of ether and are returned to the ethereal realm. In turn, the restless energy which suffuses that plane streams back into our world, giving rise to new life.
'Tis as the heavens did decree, the way of all mortal souls. Twixt this world and the next do the ethereal currents swirl, bearing the very essence of life. Thus doth the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth continue unabated.
Primals behave somewhat differently. In order to manifest and then maintain a physical presence in this realm, they must consume vast quantities of ether, most often in the form of crystals. Though they may seem to live, their flesh is but ether given shape. Thus, a defeated primal leaves behind no broken corpse. Rather, the essence of its form seeps back into the land whence it came, and the energy of its shattered spirit is called back to the ethereal realm.
And there it waiteth, till next the prayers of the faithful do draw it forth from the sea of ether, to take their offering of crystals and make for itself a new body.
Which brings us on to the third group, the so-called immortals. They exist in a manner all their own.
Quite. Even as the Sahagin Elder fell to the Admiral's musket shot, I witnessed the release of an ethereal cloud, which immediately took possession of a nearby minion.
A soul that dissipateth not upon the death of the flesh.
The secret of life everlasting, and in the claws of a Sahagin no less. But I wonder, what would happen to one of these obstinate spirits, should there be no suitable host for it to claim?
If mortal death entails a return to the ethereal realm, it seems doubtful that the soul of an immortal would venture there.
Nay, it merely withdraweth the distance, unto the shore of the ethereal sea, perchance. But no.
Yes, it exists in neither this realm nor the next, abiding instead in the space that lies between them. The Ascians took control of Thancred by means of a crystal of darkness, an artifact which, if our theories are correct, serves as a gateway to the place I have just described.
I was hoping people had forgotten about that.
I am sorry, my friend.
For a mercy, the weary road of our research hath brought us unto an answer.
The Sahagin ascended to an immortal state, but he did not possess a crystal of darkness through which to flee this realm. Thus was he consumed by Leviathan. If we could entrap the spirits of defeated Ascians in like manner, and thereby deny them resurrection,
therein lieth the path to victory. Thou art most perceptive, my lady. Only when we have trapped the bodiless soul within an ethereal prison can we hope to defeat its unnatural constancy. Thus might even an eternal paragon be consigned to oblivion.
These feats are, of course, far easier said than done. At present, we lack a viable means to entrap and extinguish an Ascian soul. Yet, I believe it to be possible. The pieces of the puzzle lie before us. We have but to put them together.
I will depart at once to convene with the sages of Sharlayan. Together shall we divine the steps by which our goals may be achieved.
I have the utmost faith in you, Archon.
beg pardon, antecedent, but I would raise one final matter. Even now, a Sharlayan survey party seeketh to ascertain the fate of the students of Baldessian. Their findings shall soon be known to us. Though you harbor feelings of dread, I bid you surrender not to sorrow, but abide instead in hopeful prayer.
I shall, Archon. Thank you.
Lord Levin is returned to the Easter. This was Leviathan before him. Vermouth's horizons was most intriguing. Inferno, Vortex, Crack, Wall, and Levin all have now been humbled by the bringer of light. The limitless potential of man, idol and servant, grows mightier by the day. Yet the prospers at great cost to his mistress, whose strength is all too finite. 7 times have the masses survived the rejoining, but their souls are grown weak and wan. Yet even it enervates the ardor and powers our master. All that remain is the nurture of the strength of the gifted to forgive, to forge the final key. And that is the task to which we bend our every effort. Divine seeds wherever wont to quicken in Eorzea's fertile soil. We need only lead men to the field, and by their eager hands shall a new deity arise. That which was shattered shall be made anew, and the one true God shall come again. The god of the Essenes. Now the matter of Ramu has for the present been put to rest. There is something I would show you, Micah. The letter of thanks signed by the leaders of the Eorzean Alliance acknowledging the Science's tireless service to the realm. It mentions in particular the names of the defeated primals Ifrit and Garuda, Good King Mugulmak, the 12th, Leviathan, and now Ramu. Needless to say, there's only among our number to have faced them all. And so these words of gratitude were addressed to our order as whole. I feel that they were meant for you above all others. I too must offer my heartfelt thanks for all that you have done in the course of your duties. You have never once failed to answer my call to arms. You are a true hero, Micah, and Eorzea is that much the safer for your presence. Pray do not misunderstand me. I say it's safer, not safe. I know only too well that we can ill afford to lower our guard. The Ascians may be relied upon to sow chaos in this realm until such time as they are forced to stop. Why, even without their encouragement, you may be assured that the man would fawn and strive on his own. And that is to say nothing of the beast tribes. Unless we learn to live in harmony, the primals too will return to plague us again and again and again. And yet, despite all of this, your deeds serve to inspire the people, to give them hope for a better tomorrow, and there is no greater gift. And that we have the courage to strive for what might otherwise seem an impossible peace, we owe in no small part to the dangers you have faced on your behalf, and the people you have won over to our cause. In so doing, our list of enemies have been long, but think of the allies with whom we are now blessed. Of the sylph of little Soleils, who wish naught of conflict. Of the Almegans and the Domans who stand with us, determined to halt the dread march of the Empire. And then there are the many unsung individuals who gathered here in Revenant's Toll, honest men and women who seek and employ the skills for the good of all. Of course, when speaking of our greatest allies, we must not forget those closest to us, by which I mean our fellow Scions. Oscar and Yanak, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Thanks to their many varied talents, our order is uniquely equipped to combat the far-reaching corruption of the Ascians. And combat it we shall. Your enthusiasm is truly heartwarming, antecedent, given our embarrassing wealth of allies. I trust it will not inconvenience you unduly if I absent myself for a time. Alfinod, I take if the troubles in Ulda no longer require your attention. There are yet some rumblings of discontent, but the air of simmering violence is largely dissipated. 'Tis to report such that I stand before you now. That and to speak with you concerning the new organization we discussed. I have a message for you from LM. You recall the refugee girl, the one whose parents were missing. They were found unharmed. She wished me to pass on her thanks to you. Why, Alfinod, am I to understand that you made the effort to remember the poor girl's name? I look forward to reading all about her in your report. I do hope you left nothing out. Micah, you have been away from Revenant's Toll for some time now, I believe. Might I suggest that you put the affairs of the realm to one side for the moment and take this opportunity to reacquaint yourself with the town? Which reminds me, Slavborn would recently inquired as to your whereabouts. I believe he has some small matter he wished to discuss with you. Why not oblige him with a visit? Oh, I see. My fine adventurer friend has returned. The dust of the road yet clinging to his boots. Do the Scions have no work for you this day then? The Anderson sent you my way, did she? Well, it's not urgent, but I could certainly do with your help. His Soul has become something of a favorite destination for adventurers. Part of that it's due to the town growing fame, but a goodly number of green heroes to be have come here to follow in your footsteps. When I say green, I mean fresh out of the ground. Don't know one end of sword from the other green. I've done what I can, but what they really need is a good talking to from someone they respect, an adventurer who's done it all. I'm Micah, that would be you. Yeah, I suspected that. And naturally, the one lass who would most benefit from your wisdom is nowhere to be seen. She was to slay Appellants and was stood back some time ago. Likely got herself in over her head as usual. As a Singonet, this may be the perfect opportunity for you to treat her to a demonstration of your skills. I'd consider it personal favor if you would head out to the singing shots and show the amateur how it's done. Singing shots, that must be here. What really? Okay, yeah. I really died from fall damage. Don't know when this last happened to me on that game. Okay, so jumping down there is the idea. Jump down there again. More or less way down here somewhere. I think that's Damn near pissed myself back there. I was hoping to find myself a little one, but the fates went through the means bugger and all on Madonna and me. Typical. Hold up, you're Michael Whale, ain't you? The Michael Whale, seven hells, you flipping famous. And you twice as sword as they said you were, and all bugger me. I can't believe I'm talking to the man himself. And now you've gone and seen me at my worst. The rust bleeding pet's fault. I tell you, doesn't listen to a damn thing I say. That and the fact that none of me so-called mates offered to help me when I told them I was off to get some hoplites. Most of them gave me a confused or like I was talking out my ass. You don't agree, so right? Okay, we're mean and gods, no, don't you too. That's the final bleeding straw, that's it. I was hoping you all people would understand. I mean, it ain't adventuring if you don't take a few risks, right? Alright, maybe I'm a bit out of me depths here. I'll be more careful, I promise. Okay, let's return to Revenants. I really forgot how many quests there was after A Realm Reborn. About 22 months, so almost a year between, or no, 2 years really, yeah. Yeah, 2 years between the main game and Heaven's Ward. So that's a lot of content. Oh, Micah, you have my thanks. That last I sent you out to instruct. But back into town looking probably shit. I saw the lesson from you might pierce that obstinate skull of hers. Nothing I said seemed to work. Truth be told, she seemed more inclined to listen to the rustling of my beard than anything which came out of my mouth. But now that you have demonstrated the skills she had lacks, it will not be long before it'll paint pierce hear the tale. They will soon realize that one does not become a hero in a day. It requires dedication to perseverance and learning from each task you undertake. There are no shortcuts, eh, Micah? Gods, would you look at all those people, see they parting and adventurous by the wagon load, and more than a few are eager to wrap on the side store. I wonder if this constant flow of aspiring heroes is what has Tatari looking so perturbed. Might be she could use a friendly ear, So talk to Tatari. Hello, Michael. That might I.O.'s left one so that I could use a friend, did he? What a sweet man. Thought I did not think my fretting so obvious. Well, I suppose there's no sense in hiding it now. This time to reveal my little secret. It quite suits me, don't you think? But it's not simple for show. I've been learning the mining trade. Why, you might ask? Ah, therein lies the source of my demeanor. Ever since we relocated to the Rising Stones, the signs of the Seventh Storm have stepped out from behind the curtain, so to speak. Our victories over the Empire have granted us a certain degree of fame. Many bidding adventurers have traveled from afar with the intention of joining our ranks, and while I welcome each new member that takes up our cause, we have too little coin. As I'm sure you are aware, we are a strictly neutral organization, and ensuring that neutrality means limiting the funds we accept from outside sources. The Science receive various means of support from the 3 major nations, and the Levelertrans are quite generous with their families' coffers, yet the modest income cannot keep pace with our day-to-day expenses. There's also sundry donated material, of course. Those are delivered to the Adventurers Guild and swiftly allocated to the expansion of Revenant's Toll. While I cheerfully leave the toppling of primals to you, 'tis my duty to balance the books and fight the demons of debt. On my honor as a receptionist, I will raise the necessary coin with my own 2 hands. I even paid for this sturdy mining attire out of my own purse, which makes it doubly aggravating that my custom-made sledgehammer has yet to arrive. I scrimped and saved especially for that tool. Micah, if you would help me see this Science survives this fiscal disaster, then I would ask you to travel to Blacksmith's Guild in Limsa and demand hand over my commission at once. Oh, and regarding your travel expenses, I'll have to check our available funds. Once you have my sledgehammer, pray leave it with Phlegm, and I shall be out digging up riches the best I can. Secretment, I have crystal clusters, here I come. Okay, so teleport to Lumedex. Castle, okay. Okay. So the bullets must kill us. Okay. What brings you back to my forge? Get some new masterpiece or some missing to show me? Yeah, about commission, something weren't delivered. Now that's passing strange, unless it's an all-included dream. I'm fairly certain Mistress Tataru's tools were shipped 12 days ago. I'm not like to forget the foreign of a sledge, what needed flowers engraved on that. Could be the porter met with misfortune on the road. If the blocks were employer in town, then you'd find him south of the octant on one of them empty wagons. Seeing as we heard not one way of the other, so I be a mind to cast some doubt on their whole operation. What an upsetting business. Might need a pint or two to put it all behind me. South of the octant. Bugger off, I have work to do. Delivery from the Smithies to Madonna. How the bloody hell should I know? I just told the great. Hang on a moment. Yeah, you said Mordona. My mate was meant to see a shipment up the river and stole a while back, but took out just before he was due to leave. Not worry, I said. I take it there, my very own. Ah, bugger it. Well, we got bleeding busy, didn't we? And I figured something coming looking if their precious package didn't arrive. Any road, and here you are. The crate you want is back there someplace, marked and all. You can grab it your own self. Back to Roland's talking. Well, of course not. So, Students Micah Tartaro made mention of a missing delivery. Were you able to coax her commission from the Blacksmith Guild? Wonderful, I shall keep it here with me until Tartaro returns from her mining expedition. She's not one to broach matters by half, is she? Rising Stones couldn't ask for a more able administrator. Still, I am somewhat worried for her well-being. I realize the Taru means to mine and not more, but even the outskirts of Realm's Toll are not free of brawling dangers. Would you mind tracking down our industrious Lalafel and see that she has not come to harm? As far as I'm aware, the Taru intended to start digging in the hills near the Tangle. You may have to call out to attract her attention. Taru is to be found northeast of the Tangle. First make your way to the destination marker with the jet mode and save the key. Rock and splitting stone. I raise a fortune on my own. Delving deep for precious ore. I take a rest, then dig some more. Toss aside the peoples, toss aside the dirt, toss aside the science who shirk their work. Phew, I think I call it a day. I'll make much better progress once Micah brings back my sledgehammer. Yes, I might even make enough money to indulge a little blood current shots for morning tea every single day. Was that someone calling my name? Ah. It's not really a snack for a marble, I guess. Let's get to Taru from the marble. Okay, and where is this marble? Somewhere here, yeah. There you are. Come on, get the better snack. Great 12 above. I thought I'd eaten my last current tart for a moment. There. Thank you ever so much. I believe it's past time I return to the Rising Stones. use the return function. Micah, I must thank you again. I received my commission from Flemon. The flow engraving is absolutely perfect. After nearly becoming dinner for a marble, so I'm not so eager to head back into the field. In any case, no more solo mining trips with me. I shall be sure to drag along one or two handy adventurous types to serve as bodyguards. I suppose I have to pay them, so well, no matter. That simply means I need to dig twice as hard. You've been immeasurable help as always, Micah, but could you perhaps spare a little more of your time? To put the matter simply, the Doman children have been chattering about you endlessly. It would mean that the blow to them to see their hero again. Look, it's Mr. Micah. He is back from his adventures. We heard you were fighting primals and that they have some of the strongest enemy you could ever face. I wish I could see you in battle. Anyway, we all want to be heroes too, so we finally formed our very own Doman Adventurers Guild to protect all the Domans. Oh, do you think you could train us today, Mr. Micah? Maybe you could show us how you fought the primals. What all this commotion then? Mr. Boulder and Mrs. Coulternet, did you know that Mr. Micah is back? So it would seem. Welcome home, Micah. My companion and I but recently became full members of the Science, and I believe proper introductions have yet to be made. I am known as Horrible Boulder and his bookish fellow Coulternet, so we remain largely unproven as adventurers. We've taken it upon ourselves to instruct the Doman younglings in the arts of combat. I told you, Mr. Boulder, we are not younglings anymore. We are adventurers, and we're just asking Mr. Micah if he could give us some special training. I think we're ready to hunt monsters alongside him, don't you? Well, you've certainly been diligent with your drills, but I'm afraid the fiends of Mordona are still ever so slightly too dangerous for you. I have a counter-proposal. What if we were to cross swords with Micah, a demonstration of skill at arms, if you will? Hooray! If I didn't know you better, and I do, I'd say you were merely seeking to test yourself against a legend. Well, mayhaps I am, but what matters the motive when the children stand to learn so much from the lesson? What you say, Micah? Would you consent to spar with me? Hooray! We're to have a tournament. Come on, everyone. We must prepare our gear for the outing. Do try not to disappoint them. At face, Coulternet. I shall summon every last ounce of my strength to make of this worthy contest. The fields of the east of town should prove suitable for our purpose. I very much look forward to our bout. That was good of you to agree to this, Mike. I trust you are ready to begin. Very well, let us not keep the younglings waiting any longer. Hooray, are you certain you wish to fight him alone? That's my fate. What better way to test my mettle? Pray allow me to attempt the first round unaided. After all, that's this year's legend that led me to join the science. To begin with, without Micah to inspire my efforts, I would not be half of the warrior I am today. Your point is well made, but remember, this is for the children's sake as well as your own. Should it appear the contest will end too swiftly, I shall add my spells at your blade work. Hello, you haven't begun yet, have you? Yida, who are all these people? When I heard about your sparring match, I told everyone I could find, thought you could use a crowd to cheer you on. Yes, and there's still more to come. When I mentioned Micah's name, the reaction was quite enthusiastic. Why my own popularity seems but strictly shade and comparison. You best claim victory, bring of light. Your birch-going reputation is at stake. Well, our teacher won't be beaten so easily. He's a master swordsman. You can win, Mr. Boulder. We shall soon see. On your guard. Absurd. Mr. Micah is so strong, but you can't give up, Mr. Boulder. Can't disappoint, younglings. have bested me. I yield. Gasp. That was incredible. He beat them both at the same time. We knew you couldn't lose, Micah. None can defeat the Guardian of Eorzea. Now I see why they sent you to deal with the primals. I have much to work to do if I'm ever to attempt the same. Impressive as always, Micah. It is ever a pleasure to witness the spectacle of your natural power. And judging by the smiles of these many faces, they too appreciate the hard-won strength that keeps the perils of the realm at bay. Guardians of Eorzea, yes, that is a most fitting title. Do you recall when first we met? That was as the memorial service for the Battle of Cartino. At the time I was attempting to understand this land of Eorzea. I sought to grasp the reason why grandfather willingly sacrificed himself to protect it. I shall speak plainly. My initial impressions were less favorable. Dire problems abound, and yet the effort I sought expanded toward the solution was haphazard and half-hearted. I thought Eorzeans are foolish, childish people. Considering the shambles their home was in, I would not have been surprised if some had chosen to swear allegiance to Gaius and the order he proposed to enforce. The Lagash single-minded military invasion precluded any such switching loyalties, of course. Were it not for desire to continue grandfather's legacy, I would have abandoned the realm to its fate long ago. The threats were too many, the nations too self-involved and unstable. That was you who convinced me the salvation of Eorzea was possible. That was you who taught me through countless acts of bravery that what my grandsire sought to preserve was not the land, nor its history, nor a single nation. It was a people, these wonderful, infuriating, stubborn people that suffer blow after terrible blow only to drag themselves back to the feet to face another day. So he never put such feeling into words. I believe grandfather's admiration for this inextinguishable courage grew into a fervent wish, a wish to aid Eorzea and its inhabitants in charting a course for the future. A wish that has now become my own. I too will endeavor to take up the mantle of Guardian of Eorzea and champion these people who toil towards a better world. Our cause, however, is not a simple one. The troubles that plague us are of scale that cannot be solved by the signs of the seventh dawn alone. Know what is need to tackle the root of the primal threat and effectively counter the schemes of the Ascians as a new expanded organization that operates beyond limitation of nations and borders. If you would aid me in building such an organization, Then pray let us continue the discussions back within the walls of the Rising Stones. Thank you for coming, Michael. The world shifts and alters, and we, my friend, must even be one step ahead of the chaos. What I propose is the formation of a new organization, a group that shall pave the way for a truly united Eorzea. Pray forgive me if I street over old ground, but I would first speak of the grand plan. Since the advent of the seventh astral area, the leaders of the three nations have been deliberating over an accord that seeks to bring the disparate forces of Eorzea together into a single entity. A realm-wide grand company, if you will, the military might such an institution would be drawn from every corner of the land and directed against threats that no single nation could hope to overcome alone. Yet, while the purpose of this hypothetical organization is undisputed, the logics of its formation have become the source of endless debate. And the longer these discussions continue, the more I sense the impetus towards the unification draining away. Those have been campaigning for the creation of what might be considering a trial company. It will be on much smaller scale than what we hope to eventually achieve, but capable of the same manner of unrestricted operation according to the science. This my hope that the successful utilization such as force will lend momentum to lagging deliberations. Also being primarily a military outfit, I mean to assuage fears of its misuse by placing the fledgling organization under the authority of the antecedent. Science work tirelessly to protect Eorzea and its people. But as yourself has witnessed with the refugee revolt, there are limitations to what even we can achieve. With this new company under the Science Command, however, we will be capable of responding to a wider range of difficulties without draining our resources or overtaxing our formidable talents. The goals of my proposed organization and those of the Science are ultimately identical, a point concerned by all concerned. But before I can move forward with establishing this precursor to the true border-spanning Grand Company, 'tis yet necessary that I visit the three leaders and gain their official approval. a tiresome and time-consuming task, which is why I would ask that you accompany on the journey and attend the business of recruiting our goal members while I'm otherwise engaged with bureaucratic formalities. Thank you. It is reassuring indeed to know that the bringer of light and this discerning eye will be selecting our future allies. Oh, and first destination will be Limsalum and Salet as rendezvous at Bulwark Hall. Okay, yeah, well, I'm gonna call it a day here, because I'm a bit tired, and so, I will be probably next back on Sunday, cause, I have family visits tomorrow, and yeah, and so there's no streaming tomorrow. Thanks for joining, everyone. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a good time, and I wish you a well rest of your day or a good night. And yeah, I hope I see you at I will see you at Sunday. And until then, bye everyone. And thanks for stopping by.